What's going on, Titan Nation? You are tuned into the Two-Tone Zone. I am your host, Mr. Two-Tone, and I just want to give a special birthday shout out to my co-host, D Weez. Today is his birthday, so he won't be tuning in on the show today. He won't be chiming in, but I do have a special guest in the building. Also, too, it is my nephew's birthday. He is 18 years old today, so I want to give a special shout out and a special salute to my 18-year-old nephew. You know, I wish you nothing but happiness and blessings on your young life that you're going to embark here in the near future. So love both of you guys. I do have a special guest in the building. His name is Sheriff Joe Baggs, representing the Los Angeles Rams. He has a show on YouTube called the Rams Showcase. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring him in real quick. Sheriff Joe Baggs, what's up, man?
How you doing, dude? Thanks for having me.
Man, hey, thank you for being on the show, especially at such short notice. You know, I sent you a message on Instagram. Fingers crossed. Man, I'm glad we were able to connect and schedule this show and get something in coordination.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out, man. And some happy birthdays to shoot out to D Weez and to your nephew, man. That's awesome.
Right on, man. They definitely appreciate that. Real quick, tell me how you got your name, Sheriff Joe Baggs, man. I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, actually, the quickest version of the story is a long time ago. I was working at a bakery at a grocery store. So I acquired the nickname Bag of Donuts, and now it's shortened to Joe Baggs. And then a couple years later, I don't know how Sheriff got added, but Buddy P added on Sheriff, and I didn't really have like a use for that name. And then I started doing Ram Showcase, and was like, I'll just go with Sheriff Joe Baggs. I don't want to be Joe. That's a boring old name, So Sheriff Joe Baggs is what stuck, and I've got the tattoo over here, even.
I got you, man. Hey, well, maybe I should watch what I say on the show. I don't want to incriminate myself. You got the badge. Yeah. I'm messing with you, man. I'm no criminal. I'm just a Titans fan, man. Titans gang member. That's it.
Which can be qualified as criminal in circles. So.
I like it, man. I like it. Hey, so I caught your preview this morning, man. Tell me a little bit of history between these two franchises, man. Just about maybe I guess all time records that we have between the two. Let's talk about Super Bowl 34.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is the 14th meeting between the two teams. So only the second between the Los Angeles Rams and the Tennessee Titans. Rams did win that last one back in 2017, which was a heck of a year for the Rams. First year with McVay, so that was pretty awesome. Most of the history is actually against the Houston Oilers, so we go way back with them. LA Rams versus Houston Oilers. That's a matchup we've seen a lot, but hey, the biggest one, Super Bowl 34, man. One heck of a football game. Air McNair out there, and then Mike Jones gets that tackle on Dyson there at the 1 yard line. I remember I was young, man. I was 9 years old, still losing my mind out there.
Right.
Man. It was one of those where it almost felt anticlimactic because it was like we knew what was going on and stuff, and then the tackle happened, and it was like, wait, did we do it? And then everybody loses their mind. But yes, the 14th all-time meeting. We don't get a lot because it's AFC versus NFC, but hey, should be a fun one. I'm a little sad though that we don't get to see Derrick Henry versus Aaron Donald. Man, I was really looking forward to that matchup.
Yeah, real quick before we talk about Derrick Henry, and the Aaron Donald matchup, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to share your insight and your feelings of how you felt after Super Bowl 34. Because here on the Two-Tone Zone, we're very biased. We're very upset with the outcome of that game.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to be able to share your perspective. But now back to Derrick Henry and the Aaron Donald matchup. Man, very disappointing for our franchise. We did end up, putting a Band-Aid on the wound. We picked up Adrian Peterson, but still, even he knows and even he's addressed that he can't fill the void of Derrick Henry. So initially, I know we don't want people to get hurt. We're not rubbing our hands together, licking our chops when we hear about these injuries. But
of course,
be honest with me, it was a sigh of relief once you found out that Derrick Henry wasn't going to be playing in this game.
Yeah, there is a little bit of mixed emotions there because it is like, as a fan of football, as a fan of the game, I
Yeah.
really wanted to see that matchup. I really wanted to see Derrick Henry out there, seeing two heavyweights go head to head, and that's something that, as a fan of football, I really was excited to see. As a Rams fan who wants to win this game in a very tight NFC playoff race, it does not hurt my feelings to see that an absolute monster in Derrick Henry will not be on the field for this one. But yeah, so it's kind of, I'm conflicted emotionally about it.
Man, I hear you, man. It was definitely a huge blow underneath the belt of Titans fans. It was just devastating. I'm still trying to figure out how to overcome it, man. But I'm just praying for Derrick Henry and his fast recovery, and that his psyche is able to stay, elevated. Because he is a competitor. He does love this game of football. Week in, week out, day in, day out, he's out there working on his body, working on his skill set, and then being a leader, and most importantly, being a great teammate. So he brings a lot to our organization, and it's just a shame that we don't have him. But we're still going to push forward, and we have options. So that leads into my next question. So I know you said you're a fan of football, so I know you watch a lot of film and things of that nature, and I'm sure you play fantasy too. So you're involved in that, stats and whatnot. Outside of Derrick Henry on offense, if you are Sean McVay working with your defensive coordinator, excuse me, how are you going to come into this game to stop the Tennessee Titans? Because we do have options. We have AJ Brown, we have Julio Jones. Tell me your perspective on that.
Yeah, well, actually, the timing of some moves that the Rams just recently made, I think, kind of played perfectly into what the Rams' defensive game plan would be with the Titans losing Derrick Henry, which would be to get after Ryan Tannehill. And, obviously there's those weapons there. Julio Jones, AJ Brown, those are incredible receivers, and so I think the original game plan, if Henry was there, is going to be load the box, don't let Henry beat you kind of thing. But now that he's gone, it's get after Tannehill. So bringing in Von Miller, I think that's the timing of that move is so perfect for this game specifically because getting that pass rush even more ramped up, even though the Rams are already leading the league in sacks with 25 coming into the game. This just makes that pass rush a little bit more potent. And we've also seen this Rams secondary is a lot softer than last year, just playing a little bit more back, playing more of that umbrella defense than we saw under Brandon Staley now that we have Raheem Morris. So I think that'll also really, really help the secondary, just being able to get after the quarterback. If you can just shorten the time that the quarterback has to hold on to that football, guys like Jalen Ramsey, Jordan Fuller on the back end their opportunities will increase with that increased pass rush.
I mean, you guys have sustained 11 picks this year on defense. 25 sacks. So your guys' pass rush is definitely a threat. And for me, to be honest, our offensive line is the biggest key to this game for us, offensively. To make sure that we have the time for Tannehill to get rid of that ball, be able to go through his progressions, to be able to open up those holes for Adrian Peterson and Jeremy McNichols, Deontay Foreman. So we have a running back by committee approach this weekend. So that for us, offensive line, giving our guys opportunities to make plays. You guys are phenomenal, man, and I'm looking at the conversation here on Von Miller. It says that he's not going to be guaranteed to play. He's questionable. Do you think he'll play tomorrow?
I do think he'll play. It's it's almost one of those where, I mean, with the way that the week has gone, he is listed as a game time decision. But I live out here in Colorado, so I'm pretty in tune with the Broncos as well. And it really sounded like he had a chance to play last week for Denver, and then they kind of held him out as a precaution. Whether they knew anything about an upcoming trade or anything like that, I'm not sure about. But it sounds like he was almost ready to go last week, so I do anticipate him playing in this game tomorrow night.
Got you. Do you think he's going to be an immediate impact on that defense?
Yeah, I think he'll have some kind of impact. I just don't know how many snaps he gets in his first game with the Rams. I know that there is some crossover in the defensive scheme, but I don't anticipate him being out there for 90-95% of the plays. I think it'll be a lot less than that, and with a pretty heavy rotation, which the Rams have been doing anyway. So I think that he'll just kind of fit into that rotation. But the guys that the Rams do have on along the edge, I think allows the team not to need to throw in Von Miller like in a really heavy role immediately.
Right. So Sebastian Joseph Day's been ruled out. He's been dealing with some chest injuries.
Yeah.
He's a big part of your guys' pass rush. He's got 3 sacks within your guys' 25. So I'm definitely looking at that as an opportunity for us to maybe kind of take advantage. Leonard Floyd's definitely a factor. I think he's leading your guys' team with 6.5 sacks.
Correct.
So, we definitely have our work cut out for us on Sunday. It's gonna be a heavyweight matchup. I don't predict it to be a high scoring game. I think both teams are gonna come out prepared and ready to prove something. Because as you stated on your show, and it's just factual anyway, you guys are ranked fifth overall in the NFC at 7-1, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are trying to go out there and make a statement, and we're trying to solidify our number one spot in the AFC to prove that we are a Super Bowl contending team. We are a force to be reckoned with. So I just expect both teams to go out there and handle business. And I didn't know you were from Colorado. You lived in Colorado. I didn't know that.
Yep, whole life.
Oh, I live in Colorado as well.
Oh, awesome.
That's really odd, man.
That's cool, man. I'm in Fountain, so.
Oh, Fountain, so towards the Springs.
Yeah.
Got you. Fort Collins this way, man. So
for sure.
We're on I-25, just north and south.
Yep.
Right on, man. That's cool. Let's talk about your offensive line. You got some big jokers on your offensive line. Let's talk about them and their ability to make sure that Stafford is able to stay in the pocket and not allowing that pocket to collapse. He's been a gunslinger for you guys, and I'm really impressed of how he came into your offense, just commanding it and just being a missing piece to the puzzle. And it seems like he's been there for forever. Like these guys have had relationships, but like I said, it starts up front. So let's talk about your offensive line, man. How did you guys have the ability to bring this big unit together? I mean, you got guys that are 6'8" on the protecting the right side, guys that are 6'6", 6'7" on the left side, just some big jokers, and they do their job and do it correctly. Stafford hasn't been sacked very many times this year. Looks like he's only been sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
So tell me the formula of how that came together.
Honestly, it's a lot of homegrown talent along the offensive line as well as the rest of the roster. I know that the national eye on the Rams has this view that we just kind of go out and pick up other people's veterans and stuff. But I mean, 14 of the Rams' 22 starters are homegrown, and along that offensive line, we do have 2 who are not, which would be Austin Corbett as well as Andrew Whitworth. Of course, Whit played for the Bengals for many years, and then Corbett was actually like a low-level Browns roster guy, but we kind of saw something in him and brought him over. But everybody else homegrown guys. So it's just the scouting department for the Rams, man. They know what they look for and they go get it, and that's where you see certain picks or signings that maybe some people don't think are the best, but then when they show up to the Rams, they're doing a good job. But yeah, Whitworth and the rest of that group up front, man, they're just the best way to describe them. I think they're just grown-ups, man. They're just there. They're there to work, and that's what they do. They're not out there just messing around. They have a job to do, and they know that the guy behind them is a little bit older, and they need to keep that guy upright if things are going to happen. And yeah, it's the best way that I could describe them is they're adults, they're mature, and they just go there to work, man.
Right, man. It's very impressive. But let's not forget they definitely have their work cut out for them on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Harold Landry, Jeffrey Simmons, Bud Dupree, Danico Autry. We have guys that are back there causing havoc, that are definitely making sure that the quarterback has pressure on them. I don't know if you got a chance to watch us against the Kansas City Chiefs, man, but the way we collapsed the pocket on Patrick Mahomes was bar none, and I was very highly impressed by their performance. So I'm hoping to see, a reenactment of how we approach that game against the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Granted, Stafford is not really mobile, but he can get out there and extend some plays a little bit. He's no slouch. He can bounce out a little bit, but that's not like his forte. So, like I said, you guys are gonna have your work cut out for you on that offensive line. But let's talk about your receivers, because that's what you guys really are predicated on is the pass. Cooper Kupp leading the league right now in reception yards. But let's talk about Robert Woods. There's been some talk going around, that he's injured right now, and also too, he's not very happy with the amount of targets that he's been receiving or not receiving this year. What is your insight on that?
Yeah, it's one of those where I think that it's nothing. There's nothing about the Rams offense or Matthew Stafford that is anti-Robert Woods. It's just that Stafford and Kupp's relationship is just so strong. There's all kinds of stories about them every day sitting after practice, going over stuff and going into the film room, and they're sitting there talking, Coop and Stafford, that is. And with Woods, I mean, he was Goff's guy, and that's where we saw Robert Woods really thrive is because Jared Goff, he was one of his main targets. So, yeah, the injury right now, I don't believe it's very serious. Every time anybody gets asked about it, it kind of seems like it gets blown off a little bit, just like, oh yeah, he's on the injury report, but he should play. So I'm not super worried about his foot injury that he's dealing with going into this game, but he has shown some frustrations. But when McVay comes out and says like, hey, we need to do a better job of getting this guy the football, that's usually exactly what happens that following game. But there's teams out there. The Arizona Cardinals are a great example of a team that said we're not going to get beat by Cooper Kupp, and so they kind of bracket him. And luckily for the Rams, there are other weapons on this team.
Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee.
Exactly. Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, other guys that Stafford can go to in a pinch. And I think that's we have to see what teams are going to do that, because Cooper Kupp's ripping it up right now. Not every team is targeting him. So
defensively, do you realize how physical we are? Like how physical we are as a defense?
Yes.
We have a hard hitting secondary. Our linebackers are trying to take folks' heads off, and we're pretty physical, and we don't get a lot of credit across the national media, anyways. But when it comes to how physical we approach the game, we're not on a lot of people's radars. So we're gonna be hitting Cooper Kupp tomorrow. We're gonna be trying to hit him and make him think twice about going across the middle. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to work to get to the outside. So he's gonna have to think twice about that. That's just me talking smack, though. So
well, and to kind of rebuttal that a little bit is I think the national media also doesn't understand that Cooper Kupp is kind of a big dude. I mean, he's 6'2", like he's a big guy. Like in people's minds, he's like 5'10".
For sure,
but that's not the case,
But he's got some speed to him. He's elusive. Yeah. He knows how to make guys miss. He's got tremendous playmaking ability, man. So I say that with the utmost respect, because I feel like he's earned it. He's definitely earned it. Now let me ask you this real quick. I know Derrick Henry was on a lot of people's ballots for MVP up until he was put out with this injury. Matthew Stafford, is he a truly MVP candidate in your just from stats and in your opinion?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I think the way he's playing right now, I think it would be hard to say that he's definitely not in the MVP race at all, But there are some guys having some amazing seasons out there, so you got to compete with everybody, kind of thing. But I think the biggest thing for Matthew Stafford and this Rams team is, we watched Jared Goff in every single one of his games for the last few years, and the difference that you can just feel when watching the games, the difference between Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford is, it's hard to even put into words. It's astronomical how big
night and day. Night and day. Apples to
it
apples.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so from that Rams fan perspective, we were able to go to a Super Bowl, make the playoffs 3 out of 4 years with Jared Goff, and now I feel like the quarterback position is so much more solidified that I would say that, depending on your definition of most valuable player, because I feel like everybody's definition is slightly different on that, but the value that Matthew Stafford's brought to this LA Rams offense, it's hard to calculate. I think he's definitely in that conversation.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. And I'm no hater. I want to give guys credit where credit's due, and I strongly believe that he is truly an MVP candidate. And if he keeps performing at a high level, man, without a doubt, I think he deserves that.
Pre-injury, though, my vote would have 100% gone to him. 100%.
For sure, man. And that's why I was so devastated by it. Just to put my fandom and my bias behind it, man, I was more concerned about the man.
Yeah.
Because, that man, the damage that could do to a man's psyche, they not only do you have to be physically strong, but mentally to be able to sustain, that information and be able to be like, hey, I'm still going to come back and be an asset to my team, even though I'm not going to get these accolades that, that I deserved and I was on pace for. Ultimately, he feel like he's a team player, but deep down, I know it's just that was just devastating to him and what his legacy and what he wanted to have surpass him. Once he's retired from the game, he still wanted that legacy to kind of withhold his relevance. But with that being said, I think he's going to come back even stronger. And
Yeah.
what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. So
Well,
this
and
is
from the Rams' perspective on Derrick Henry, is everybody's kind of got that Eric Dickerson number in the back of our minds every time we watch
right.
Derrick Henry play. It's like, oh man, is he going to be the one? Is he going to be the one? And now with the extra game, it's like, oh man, somebody's got to do it. If it's anybody in this NFL right now, it's Derrick Henry.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So enough of enough. I think we gave Matthew Stafford his credit and his roses. Let's talk about Ryan Tannehill, because a lot of people have mixed emotions about Ryan Tannehill. He's our starting quarterback. I have the utmost respect for him, and I feel like he's a tremendous leader. Just an outside perspective, what are your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill and what he's done in Tennessee? Not Ryan Tannehill, Miami years. Let's talk about this new identity that he's built within the Tennessee Titans organization.
Yeah, well, to speak on Ryan Tannehill specifically, I'm actually a Texas A&M fan, so I've watched his entire career unfold. All the way back to when he was a wide receiver at Texas A&M. I remember that,
Mm-hmm.
And so when he went over to quarterback, it was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And then he was playing some good ball. I thought could have done a little bit better job in college, but he was playing some good ball. Goes to Miami, and it was just one of those where it's like, watching him there, it was like I feel like he was better than that. Is like I thought that he had more talent than what he was showing us in Miami. And then he goes over to Tennessee, and it was kind of, I had this mindset of like, well, we'll see, because like I thought he was better than this, but he spent all these years being just kind of okay. And out in Tennessee, I think it was just a better situation for him. I think he was just a lot more comfortable. Especially, I mean, you bring in a guy like Vrabel, who I think is an absolutely incredible coach. I think he brings a really strong presence to the room outside of anything that anybody in Miami was able to do for Tannehill. So, Tannehill is such a smart quarterback. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the most accurate. He's not the fastest. He's not the most mobile, anything like that. But he is one of the smartest, and he knows what he's looking at. He's got that. I'm not going to say that he's in that Peyton Manning, tier or anything like that, but when he goes up to the line, he has a good understanding of what the defense is trying to do, what they're trying to take away from him, and he's able to pick that apart. So that's one thing that I hope that the Rams are able to kind of disguise a little bit of coverages in this game, and hopefully that pass rush can get to him so that he doesn't have enough time to think about it. But very smart quarterback. He knows what he's doing back there.
For sure. Now, your perception is your reality, of course. So, I watch Tennessee Titans football week in, week out. I'm watching film as well. I have to disagree with you. He is pretty accurate. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he is pretty accurate, and he does have deceptive speed. A lot of people forget about his wheels. Like you said, he has played wide receiver, so he's definitely got some wheels. But
I say that in comparison to NFL quarterbacks. He's definitely accurate. He's definitely fast. But I mean, if we're going to put him in a race against Mahomes and Jackson and Kyler Murray and stuff like that,
I think he beat Mahomes.
He might beat Mahomes. Yeah.
but Murray and Jackson, he'll get smoked.
Yeah.
But he'll definitely beat Mahomes.
Yeah, that's a scary one there. But Jackson is deceivingly fast, man, and every NFC team that plays him knows that once you see him take off for the first time, it surprises you a little bit. So, but yeah, Tannehill can get moving.
He can go. He can definitely go. Hey, real quick, man, if you had to have like a bold statement, or I don't want to say bold prediction, but if you just had to say something that was kind of like you're reaching a little bit, you might be capping. What would you say would be? Let's just say it's not far fetched, but it's not impossible, right? So I guess in your team's favor, what's a bold statement for it that you might have to say?
That's a really good question, actually. I would say, we've seen this defense last year, which was a lot more stout than it was this year, but I think that the Rams are, adding pieces to that. So, like, bringing in Von Miller. But that difference at the quarterback position, we saw it. We saw this offense with Goff take us all the way to a Super Bowl. I think with Stafford and what he's brought to this offense, you bring in an extra pass rusher on defense. You got two absolute superstars on defense. I'll just go ahead and say I think the Rams can do it all this year, man. I think we can go all the way, especially in a stacked NFC where we're sitting at 7-1 and in a 5 seed right now. I think we can get done, man.
No, to be honest, I mean, I'm not too far away from that statement there. I think the Cowboys are going to end up coming out of the NFC.
Really?
I do. I like what they have going on, just all across the board.
See, that's the thing is, like, you can make an argument for a Super Bowl team for like 6 different NFC teams right now. It's crazy.
That's true. And the AFC is kind of wide open right now. No, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I was just, I'm not too far from that statement. You know, I would love to see the Tennessee Titans and the Rams in a Super Bowl again.
I would
You
love
know,
that
because
game again, man. But if you're wanting to talk like this game and
yeah,
something that I think happened in this game, I think that we see a big day from Stafford. Actually, I think we could see him go over 400 for this one, and I would say like 425, 4 touchdowns. I feel like that could be a thing that happens in this one.
hey man, everything is possible. Anything is possible. I was gonna say that we were gonna have the Super Bowl score just reversed. I think the final score was gonna be 23-16 Titans. That's my bold statement, I guess bold prediction that I have to just throw out there. You know, I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. You know, I think it's gonna be somewhere around 24-17, 23-16, somewhere around that mark. If if I guess guys that like to bet and gamble on the game, I would go with Tennessee Titans on the under.
But I'm feeling the opposite actually, man. I think I locked in my score prediction at 34-27 Rams.
Right. I just think we're going to force you guys to run the football, man. I know we don't necessarily have the best secondary, but collectively we seem to get the job done. And in these past 8 games that we've played, we've been killing ourselves with stupid holding calls, pass interference, things just a breakdown on technique or just knowing formations and schemes. We make shooting ourselves in the foot. So I feel if we clean that up, we might be able to shut your receivers down and force you guys to run the football. And that's going to put, a workload on Henderson. Let's talk about him real quick. Because I know he's not necessarily, on everybody's radar as being a top tier running back, but he's not bad.
Yeah.
He's not bad whatsoever. So in comparison to our current running game, I think we're kind of in the same boat. We have guys that need to go out there and make a statement. So what are your thoughts on Henderson, on Darrell Henderson?
Well, Henderson in the 2020 season, Henderson was the Rams starter going into the year, and starting to incorporate Cam Akers last year was more of a luxury than anything because Darrell Henderson was not playing poorly by any means. So it does suck. The Rams have dealt with a lot of running back injuries this year. At the top, Cam Akers, and then some depth guys. But Henderson, I think, is playing fine. He's just not getting as many opportunities, and I think that's what people are looking at. People are only looking at the overall number. I mean, he does lead the NFC West in rushing yards right now.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
But it's like, he's only getting 14 carries a game. You know what I mean? He's not the Derrick Henry level of, touching the football so much that his numbers are off the charts, but his averages are fine. He's scoring touchdowns. He's doing his job basically. When he's called upon, he's getting the job done. And I think he's definitely a viable running back, and he does kind of get ignored, I think, a little bit. But
for sure, I would agree, man. He's more than serviceable.
Yeah.
So I can agree with you there. Another bold statement I have, I think AP or AD, I think he's going to go for 100+ yards tomorrow. I mean,
yeah, I'm so torn on that, man. I have no idea because
if not him, I think collectively we're going to get 100 yards total. If it's just not him, but if he's able to get 100 on his own, man, I think that's going to open up a lot of opportunities for our offense.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, you look at his age, and you're like, oh man, he's not going to get it done. But he also hasn't been playing, so he's fresh. You know what I mean? Right. So, and he's a smart enough guy that I think he'll be able to get it done. And I also think that the Rams kind of go in with the intent like that the Tannehill's not going to beat this defense kind of thing. So I think we're going to get after Tannehill. So I could see a good solid rushing day from the Titans on this one. I think we kind of pin our ears back a little bit. And the Rams can get aggressive, and if you can use that aggression against them, like if you kind of do some draws on Donald, something like that, you get him going one way and the back goes the other way, which is something that Adrian Peterson, he's got the mind to be able to do. Then yeah, they could get done.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Man, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I wish D Weez was able to attend this show, but unfortunately, it's his birthday. I can't say unfortunately. He's celebrating his birthday, so
yeah.
Let me recant that statement. But salute to you for coming on. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, thank you so much for reaching out. I genuinely appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an awesome time, man. But everywhere on social media, it's at Ram Showcase. You find me at Sheriff Joe Bags. But if you search Ram Showcase on YouTube, sub there, man. We put out a full-on show every single week, and my biggest compliment so far that I've gotten in the comment section was like it's like ESPN but just for the Rams, And so if you guys are into that, then head on over.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Give your score prediction for the game tomorrow as well before we head out.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my 34-27, man. I see points being scored in this one. I think Stafford will be able to put up some good numbers in this one, but Tannehill and those weapons. Darius Williams coming back, but he's a little banged up still. I think that the Titans will be able to put up some points, and the Rams will too. But I feel better about my boys putting up more than yours.
Hey, as well as you should, man. Man, so salute to you again. I'm gonna go ahead and stick with mine, 23-16. Just the same score from Super Bowl 34, just reversed. Yeah, man, it's been a great show. Until next time, folks, you know the drill. It's always tight and gang or don't bang. Make sure you hit that like button, share the video, and please subscribe. And go check out the Rams Showcase. Make sure you guys hit the like button and go subscribe there too. Even if you're not a Rams fan, just he showed love to the Titans organization. He didn't disrespect. He didn't hate. We kept everything into perspective, and so that's what we like here on the Two-Tone Zone. So thank you very much once again, and we'll talk to you soon. If you get a chance, tune into the live stream tomorrow. D Weez and I are going live for the game. So if you get a chance, tune in, okay?
You guys go live during?
Yeah, we're gonna go live during, so it's a live stream.
Right.
Yeah, we can't show the game, but we're trying to get better at the play-by-play analysis. And
okay, yeah, I do a pregame, but I get pretty locked in when it goes. But I might hop on there, man. But I'll be a pregame live
for sure. Well, I'll tap into your to that pregame as well.
For sure, man. Good luck to your boys.
All right, man. Good luck to you too, man. Have a good rest of your day, brother.
You as well. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Two-Tone Zone.